And then Chair Chitsuzan, we are ready to begin whenever you are.
All right. The Clackamas Community College Budget Committee meeting will now come to order. Today is Wednesday, May 21st, 2025, around 6 p.m. The Budget Committee met last Wednesday, May 14th, to hear a presentation of the proposed budget and background information from the college administration. There was a question and answer period with good discussion. Tonight's meeting will allow an opportunity for the Budget Committee members to ask more questions and or provide additional comments on the proposed budget. This meeting will also include an opportunity for public comments. The budget will be adopted by the Board of Education at its June 25th meeting. At that meeting, prior to the adoption, a hearing will be held, which is an additional time for any interested parties to comment on the budget. Katie, will you please perform the roll call?
Yes, thank you. Zone 7, representing Canby and Malala, we have Andre Chernishoff.
Here.
Thank you. And we have Irene Konev.
Here.
Zone 6, representing Estacada and Colton, we have Jamie Damon.
Here.
And Jane Reed.
Here.
Zone 5, representing West Lynn and Wilsonville, we have Nancy Bush.
Here.
And the other position is vacant at this time. Zone 4, representing Oregon City, we have Chris Didway.
Here.
And we have Josephine Joe Crenshaw.
Here.
Zone 3, representing Gladstone and Johnson City, we have Wade Byers.
Here.
And we have Wade Hawthorne.
Here.
Thank you. Zone 2, representing Clackamas and Happy Valley, we have Michael Morrow.
Here.
And Rob Wheeler is excused this evening. For Zone 1, representing Milwaukee, we have Kathy Heisey. Here. And we have our chair of the Budget Committee, which is David Chitsuzan.
Here. Thank you. Our first item of business is to approve the minutes of the last meeting, which was on May 14th, 2025. Is there any discussion?
I move approval of the May 14th minutes.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the May 14th, 2025 Budget Committee meeting. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no.
Aye.
Aye.
I messed that up. Sorry, guys. I think that was all ayes. Any nays? Perfect. Motion passes. This time has now been set aside on the agenda for public comments. We will note, and I just want to say on a personal note, I really, really appreciate everyone coming out. It is maybe scary to some people to see a lot of people here, but it is a very good thing. It is very awesome to have people in the community here engaged and speaking out on things that they believe in. It's a beautiful part of America, and I really appreciate everyone being here. A couple of side notes on it. Comments are limited to 3 minutes and will be timed digitally by Katie Riggs, the committee recorder. If a group wishes to speak, please designate one spokesperson for the group. In order to maintain the meeting schedule, repetitious comments may not be permitted. I would like to ask the Budget Committee to refrain from engaging in dialogue during the public comment period and simply listen. Respectful consideration is expected for all comments. Individual personnel issues concerns must not be discussed in a general public meeting. When I call your name, please come forward to the speaker table and speak into the microphone so that everyone can hear you. Please begin your comment by stating your first and last name, along with your city of residency and relationship to the college for record. And I have the list here, and just to help the process for this, I'm going to call up people in twos, and I will then tell the first person who will be speaking, and then the second person will speak. I'll call on them. So our first two are Bill, and apologies in advance if I get anyone's name or last name wrong. I get my last name wrong sometimes too, so don't worry. First two are Bill Fig and Sean Price. And Bill, you have the floor.
Thank you, committee and members. First, my name is William Fig. I'm a Portland resident, started the class when I was in Happy Valley, and I'm a student in the auto body class. I'm here to talk about the cancellation of the auto body class, the weekend and evening classes. I've been a student in the class for about 15 years. Like I said, I started in Happy Valley. I'm a business owner in Portland, so I appreciate budget issues and concerns and people that have to make hard decisions. We have 60 or so employees and a $14 million a year budget, so I know where you're coming from. And I also speak from the heart regarding this class. So there's 4 reasons I would propose to the committee not to cut this class. And the evening class and the weekend auto body class. First of all, the class meets the Clackamas Community College missions statement as posted on its website. First, the value component on the mission, community, and that's what this class is about. It's about community. If we'd have a raise of hands of people here who are in that class that are here today, these are all people in your community that attend this class and enjoy it immensely. Second is vision, strengthening community. Having these people attend this class strengthens Clackamas Community College's relationship and goodwill in the community. Every term, approximately 40 to 60 community members take this class. It's not just about accredited degrees. I heard that concern. That's not what this college should be about, and I believe it's not what it's about. This is about also serving the community, and you've made a point about that. Clackamas Community College stands for community, not Clackamas Junior College, where everybody's going to get a degree. The second component, savings to me is unclear, the $158,000, what that was exactly based on. The students all pay tuition. I know there's a waiver issue. We pay for all of our own materials, paint, supplies, everything that it comes out of the school. The cost of the instructor is about $3,500 to $5,000 per term. That should be covered by tuition. The building costs, I heard that as termed as a subsidy. That's all fixed. The building sits there 5 days a week. One more day can't increase the cost that much. Insurance can't go up. The cost of the building has to be minimal. So it seems like the numbers should work, and I know the people in this class are willing to make the numbers work. So again, the math should work, and I don't understand the 158 if that's just a lump sum without any other accounting. Thirdly, the targeting of this class of 62 years old and older and tuition waivers, I heard that comment too. That's affecting, community members at a disparate impact who are in a protected class. I think that's the wrong focus and the wrong message for the college to be sending to targeting people who, seniors in particular, who want to take the class and the waiver. Thirdly, the short notice, it's going to leave me and a lot of people hanging. My wife's VW Bug is blown apart in 1,000 pieces. 3 weeks notice, I'm not going to be able to get it done as a lot of other people won't. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Sean Price.
All right, my name is Sean Price. I'm from Gladstone. I'm a part-time college student and an educator. Hello, board members. I've emailed some of you with my story and my photo of my 86 GMC. My journey as a part-time college student tonight, I want to put a face to that story. I've taken a journey over the last couple of years, first taking a night class for small engine repair. This led to Fred's classic auto restoration class, and then to Anthony's class, auto restoration class, on Saturday morning. The following classes have taught me countless lessons and skills, and thank you to these gentlemen and everyone that has helped me with my restoration project. Without these classes and instructors, I would have never looked further into getting my associate's degree. Coming into the fall class for the auto restoration, I was on track to complete my 86 GMC truck. Then come springtime, I'd be graduating. This dream is now on hold, and I may graduate, but I'll be left with a truck, not complete, and out at least $3,000 to $4,000. As you consider the budget for next year, understand the effects it will have on students like myself and the community. The vast knowledge that this class offer will be lost. Please help me complete my build and save this auto restoration class from being cut. Thank you guys for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Next, we will call up Melinda Wild and Les McConnell. Apologies if I said that wrong. Thank you. First, Melinda Wild.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here and serving on this commission tonight. I appreciate getting the opportunity to put my voice in the room. We have not been given that opportunity prior to tonight. There were no administrators that ever stepped foot in our classroom before canceling it. I provided you with a packet of information. The top is a picture of my car, the one I restored in these classes. I have taken every one of these classes except for the high school class. My car didn't run when I started. They showed me how to make it run, how to make it run safely, and now how to make it cool. This car is something I am very proud of, and it's because of this school. This is great advertising for this school, because everywhere I drive my car, people are taking pictures of it, chasing me down the parking lot, saying, you did that? How did you do that? And I said, right here in a community college. That's something to be proud of and not eliminate. Some things can't be measured by degrees or certificates. Piece of paper means nothing to me. That car means everything, because it's something I wanted since I was 5 years old. I saw it driving down the street and I wanted one, but I couldn't afford one when I got in high school. They didn't let girls work on cars when I went to high school. We were told to be secretaries or housekeepers. And I said, no, I want to work on cars. My dad said, go to law school. So that's where I ended up. And he said, work on cars over my dead body. Well, once he died, I signed up for these classes and I've never gone back. My son took the classes and he succeeded. I want to point out some things about the budget. I watched the video of the 14th. Since 2019, CCC has hired 19 administrators and eliminated 54 faculty and 5 classified positions. Those 19 administrators have a cost of $3.3 million on the budget. We're a bit top heavy. On the 14th, you were told that the elimination of 2 administrative positions will reduce the budget by $434,000. That's $217,000 apiece. One administrator will cover the cost of this class. The proposed budget states that CCC will save $158,000 by eliminating 5 courses, 5 associate instructors. In other words, the elimination of 1 administrator will save 5 jobs. CCC exists to teach students, not employ administrators. They've lost their focus. My understanding is the instructors that are losing their jobs maybe get $100 an hour. They don't get PERS and they don't get COLA. I may be wrong on that, but that's my understanding. So their fees don't go up. They don't increase the budget. There was a lack of accounting for the $158,000 to be saved. There's been nothing, as Mr. Figg stated, I'll try not to report what he stated, but we each pay $250 a term for materials and course costs. That's not accounted for in this budget. Where does that money go? It goes into a slush fund and it never gets back to the automotive department. Where is that money? We buy our own materials. We buy our own projects. We buy our own parts for our cars. We buy our own paint. We bring our own paint guns half the time. The tools in the tool room don't work most of the time, so most of us have our own die grinders, our own angle grinders, and we bring our own paint.
Just
Our
to
prime-
mention, Chair, we're at time. Just so.
Okay, sorry. You can finish the last train of thought there.
Okay, would anybody be willing to give me their time?
Yeah, me.
Can that be
Right.
done?
I defer my 3 minutes to Melinda.
We'll say that again?
May I defer my 3 minutes to Melinda?
Okay. That's fine. Thank
The,
you.
The administrators proposing these cuts have never stepped into the classrooms in the 15+ years that I've taken these courses. They don't know what we do and why a degree or certificate does not measure success. The argument that these courses don't lead to a degree or a certificate is a farce. 64% of the students at CCC are not seeking a degree or a certificate. Are you going to get rid of all those courses as well? CCC is not a four-year college or university. It is not designed to end up with a degree necessarily. We have to understand the ongoing need for community service and study. Seniors, the majority of these courses are occupied by seniors. I've not been a senior for the last 15 years. I'm not getting a tuition waiver. I'm paying full bore. I'm taking 2 classes at a time. It's over $1,000 a term. And I still take them because I value the education that I'm getting from these people and the assistance I'm getting. I think it's discriminatory to close these courses down because of the age of the majority of the students. I think that's a big problem for the school. The cost per student, CCC President's Office spending increased in the last 5 years by 60%. The administrative expenses have increased by 68%. The cost per student for investment in instruction decreased by 10%. They're decreasing the money for instruction and they're increasing money for administration. What is the purpose of this school? It's to teach. It's not to be managed. CCC did not consult with anybody involved in these courses before cutting them. There was no voice in the room. The administration did not give the affected departments and students the opportunity to reduce the cost of these classes to make them self-sustaining. The automotive department was deprived of any opportunity to make suggestions. They informed the department that the decision had been made by one administrator and that if there was a budget subcommittee, they never consulted with the automotive department before cutting these classes. They were just given the edict, your classes are canceled. 3 weeks notice to the end of the term. Like Mr. Fig said, or Ms. Sean said, we are left with projects unfinished and no way to finish them because we don't have paint booths in our home. There are many alternatives to completely terminating these courses. We could make them self-sustaining if we had a voice in the room. So I'm asking you, please be our voice in the room and say no to this budget and say no to cutting these classes. They are the best advertising for CCC around, and we attract students. We're only limited by the number of spaces that we have for people to bring projects to the school. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Melinda and Les. Thank you so much.
Chair Chichenon, I have just a point of clarification with regard to the rules. I don't believe that with future speakers, we're really allowed to let them defer their time. Is that the rules?
That is the rule. Okay,
okay.
good to know. Thank
Just-
you.
just-
Apologies
It's
to
okay,
the
everything was fine. I didn't-
to everyone about that. Go ahead.
My question was about a point of clarification regarding the rules for public speaking. The issue was, I don't believe that the rules for this allow for people to defer their time, essentially. I was asking for a point of clarification. It's not an issue for.
And
the
the
Yeah.
board, Katie, the recorder, clarified that is correct. So apologies, everyone. That's my mistake. And going forward, we will will not be doing that. Okay, sorry. Next one is apologies. Norman, I'm sorry, Norman and Fred Davis. Okay, so we move to Fred Davis. Oh, Norm. Okay, perfect. Awesome. All right.
I apologize. I'm going to get emotional. My name's Norman Lemley. I've been a student at this school for 23 years. I do not have a degree, but I have projects that I have finished with all the help from the students, from the instructors and the campus facilities. This program has been an asset to this community for more than 30 years that I know of. It's a very positive thing for this community. It's, if you look around, if you drive the streets and you take out your hot rod that you finished, or maybe you didn't finish, maybe you just bought one. People see these cars. My wife drives one that I finished 23 years ago. She drives it every day. And she goes to the store with it. People stop, take pictures of it. They want to know where it was done. How did, how long has she had it, so on. There's all kinds of businesses out there that we support, buying parts, paint from Industrial Finishes, Westco, all these community businesses we support by doing this class. And it was a shock to hear that in 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were told these classes will end, period. No discussion, no information at all until the fact that they're done. We were told it is done. My car is in my garage now because I've gotten so far with it, but it would have been at the college this summer finishing it. I just cannot believe that this college, they've done such a wonderful thing for the last 30 years for this community in this class, in computer classes, all kinds of community classes. This is one that affects me and a lot of these people here. It's important to us. We have a lifestyle. It's changed my life drastically. I belong to Vintage Chevrolet Club of America, which is in 26 countries around the world. I drive my old cars that I've fixed on tours every year. We go on a 4-cylinder tour every year. We do a 6-cylinder tour every year with another car. There's 50 4-cylinders that show up on my tour, on our tours. Everywhere around the United States we go on these Vintage Chevrolet tours. We see people, we meet other people, we tell them about our classes, what a wonderful situation we have. There's not any other schools around this area that I know of that does anything like this. This is a huge, huge plus for Clackamas Community College. Please know how important it is to the people here, the college, the community, us individually.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next is John Clemson and Wendy Polk. And John, if you'd like to go first.
I'm John Clemson, currently a student in the auto body program itself, which is the day classes. I'm working on my AAS degree, so I guess I'm 1 in 5. From what I heard last on the 14th, that's going to go on to get a degree. I started in 2001 with a car that my then 16-year-old son and I restored. I didn't realize it, but I guess this program's been in place several years prior to that. When I retired in 2023, I took the course again. And then like I say, I decided to go on full-time, get my AAS degree. Not sure why in the past these courses were a part of the automotive auto body curriculum back then, but they might have been an elective, I'm not sure, but they're still here today as they were back then. Today I see father-son teams taking classes, mother-son teams taking the classes, father-daughters. It's not just a bunch of senior citizens, although I am one and I have taken advantage of the tuition waiver. It worked for me, and I've taken both of them, the gold and the tuition-free one. But that's something to maybe consider going on in the future, is to somewhat work with those programs, not sure. One of the things, I'm not sure if anybody's thought outside the box. This is a community ed class, if you will. I've see this summer camp that is a community ed class, I guess, and it even offers free lunch, and it's free. Maybe this class could be put in that bucket, and with its own budget. I don't know if that's the way it works or not, but we're trying to save the class is what I'm trying to say. And everybody here is also trying to save the class. As mentioned, Clackamas College is known around the area as the place to go for this type of program. Nobody else has it. PCC, the doors are closed. All of them, the doors are closed on the weekends. This one here is the place to come where you can do your own thing and have a great time and learn from the instructors that are wonderful to be with, as well as the daytime instructors are great guys. So the real issue is cost in versus cost out. As a taxpayer, I can appreciate that. Anecdotally, some of the instructors are making a lot of money, over $90 an hour, some of them. Maybe that's something you could look at too. So reduce those costs, maybe increase the tuition costs and balance it out. And that's what I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Wendy Polk, Happy Valley resident and former student of one of these classes that you guys are proposing to or have announced that they're going to be eliminated. These classes are powerful tools for personal growth, connection, and lifelong learning. These classes are offered to people of all ages and backgrounds, from recent high school graduates all the way to senior citizens. They allow our community to discover new passions and develop practical skills in a welcoming, affordable environment. They reduce isolation, promote mental wellness, and build stronger communities by bringing neighbors together in shared activities. By investing in these programs, we invest in the enrichment of our community, empowering individuals, not just to learn, but to thrive. They help students to stay mentally sharp, socially connected, and actively engaged in our community. They provide a space where experience meets curiosity, where learning has no age limit, and where dignity and purpose are reinforced every day. Protecting these classes means recognizing the value of our community, and it provides the right to continue growing, exploring, and contributing without enrolling as a student working towards a degree. As we face an aging population, now more than ever, we must ensure these programs are available. Education should be lifelong, not just a privilege with an expiration date. Let's stand up for these college classes and affirm that learning belongs to everyone at every stage of life. Finally, hopefully I can get through this part. I am not only speaking as a community member and a person who has taken these classes, but as a daughter. My father has been a hobby instructor at Clackamas Community for over 25 years. It is a job that has given him purpose in his retirement. After retiring as a mechanic and welder, like many retirees, he found a second career. Not just for the paycheck, but for the sense of value, connection, and contribution it brings. He has been building hot rods since he was 15 years old. It's in his blood. This job is more than just work. It's a part of his identity, and I know that he and the other instructors have touched countless lives through their classes. Protecting jobs like his means respecting the dignity of our retirees, recognizing that experience matters, and it makes space for those who still want to give back. These roles support community involvement and financial stability for people like my father. Let's not overlook or undervalue these positions or classes. Let's protect the opportunities that keep our community active and a part of the fabric of our lives. The last 30 seconds, I'm just going to say my dad is Fred Davis. He gave up his time because, like me, he wears his heart on his sleeve, and I know that he wouldn't have actually gotten through a speech. So just props to my dad because I love him and just here to support him and hope that maybe you guys heard something today that might change your mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Catherine Long and Lance Margison. Catherine, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair Chichazon. My name is Catherine Long, and I'm a resident of Clackamas, and I'm a full-time faculty member, and I'm going to speak about first-year experience. Chair Chichazon and members of the Budget Committee, I would like to comment about the first-year experience course, also known as FYE. FYE isn't orientation. It's an academic course developed by faculty, and it equips students with the tools to be successful in college and beyond. The intent, as part of Guided Pathways, was to charge a fee of $97 and promote this course as 2 credits for the price of 1. Why would we take an upfront hit to run this course? Because the data show that FYE contributes to student success. Students who take the course are more likely to persist term after term, and they are more likely to complete. The plan was to ensure that all students knew about the cost savings so that they'd tell 2 friends, and they'd tell 2 friends, and so on, and so on. Students would meet their academic goals, and we would meet our SEM goals. That's Strategic Enrollment Management, and increase revenue in the long run. I was concerned to hear about the shift away from our SEM goals to a focus on trying to increase revenue in the short term. I was surprised to hear that our students don't know about the savings. Additionally, I was curious about the assumption that students could simply pay for this course with financial aid. Why? Only about 1/3 of our students receive financial aid. President Cook said he's hoping that students will still take the course and generate the projected revenue. When I recently asked about our SEM plan to implement FYE across programs to help students thrive, President Cook responded, "That work was hard. But we committed to doing hard things, not to stepping back when things get hard." Our leadership had the opportunity to reflect on our values and our SEM goals. They could have come to the budget meeting with humility to say, "We dropped the ball. We didn't promote this course the way we said we would, and we should pause on moving this to a tuition-based course until we do the hard work that we said we would do." Instead, they decided to increase the financial burden for students. It doesn't matter whether they know it, I know it, you know it. They could have paused, centered our students' lived experiences, and honored their commitment to student success. But they didn't. Please encourage our leadership to step up and do the hard work of investing in our students for the benefit of the entire community.
Thank you. Next, Lance, you have the floor.
Lance Margison, 16057 South Camellia Court in Oregon City. It's a small road between Beaver Creek and the high school. I have taken the course, the auto body course, for several years. I did this last term because my car is being painted. I have 2 cars I need to finish, and I'm counting on the class to be able to finish those cars. It's a community college, and you're not a college prep school. You're not just a trade school. You need to reach out for the whole community. And I notice a lot of the people in the class are my age or younger. Also, our class is held when nobody else is using the building. It's shut down, the lights are down. Why not use it? We pay to use the class, and I think we pay for our instructor and our materials. Otherwise, that classroom will sit empty. And the more, excuse me, I have a cold, the more the college involves community people, some of us that aren't working on a degree, I have a master's plus a ton of hours that I never use anymore. And the better chance you have of passing your budget, especially old people like me that if they have a stake in the college, they much prefer to vote for it than not. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Mark Beerwager, sorry, and Beerwagon, I'm sorry. And Earl Marble. Oh, sorry, I called up Mark Beerwagon and Earl Marble. Oh. Sorry about that. Mark, you have the floor.
Sorry about my handwriting.
No, it's all good.
Thanks, guys, for hearing us. Obviously, there's a large contingent here that feels pretty strongly. This has really touched a nerve, as I know many of you already know. Wanted to talk about our three instructors. Pat Nesbitt, one of our instructors, he's my instructor. He was my high school auto shop teacher, and so about 7 years ago, my daughter Sasha, who's back there, the pretty blonde girl, she and I started restoring her 240Z, and we took the class for 3 terms, and then babies and families got in the way, and we just started back this last term. We're very excited and obviously very disappointed to hear. Pat's been teaching the AB 101 class for more than 30 years. Fred, you've heard about Fred Davis. Fred also, who's a terrific instructor, has been teaching that class for over 25 years. And then Andrew, who teaches the 3rd class, he's actually started more than 10 years ago as a TA for the same class, and now he's instructing it. All these guys bring their passion, their knowledge, but even more than that, they bring their tools and they loan them out to the students, and they're just wonderful guys and really important to the community. Some stories. First day of class came up, the guy that was in the bay next to us, a guy named Tom. Tom is a retired home builder from Seattle. Well, I'm Mark Beerwagon from Oregon City. I'm a business owner, lifelong resident of Clackamas County. Tom bought a 1970 Dodge Challenger, classic car, in 1973 when he was in high school. In 1979, started having kids. He parked the car, said, I'm going to fix this up one day. Well, Tom just started that car. And I'll tell you, I'm not quite sure. I might be speaking out of turn. I'm not sure if Tom will finish that car, if not for this class. I told you about my daughter Sasha and I and our story, and it's been a wonderful thing to spend time with her in the class. I heard a story. I understand the son of former Governor Vic Atia took these classes, finished a car, and still shows it to this day with a plaque that gives credit to Clackamas Community College automotive program. You heard from Nomad Norm. Norm's fixed up several cars in his 23 years, but Norm takes all 3 classes. These classes are Norm's community. Students are men and women, as you've seen, young and old. Young guys out of high school trying to learn and get inspired. There's so many stories that have so many deep connections in the community that you can hardly go to a race, a cruise-in, or a car show and not encounter a car and a former student who's finished the car here in that class. The fingers go long and wide out in the community. So appreciate you guys hearing us.
Thank you. Next, we have Earl. You have the floor.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Earl Marple, and I'm a student here at the college as well as also a community member. And when I first heard about the class being dropped back in May 1st, it's like, it's kind of like you lose a child if you've ever had that experience before. But it's something that you have grown up with, you learn from, and you continue in. And when that's gone, it's like, now what am I going to do? And I have a 35 Chevy that I have rebuilt here. Got it back in 1967. And actually 63, sorry. And but anyway, I rebuilt that, restored it. And it was a total disaster when I got it. It's now on the road. I also have a 1933 Plymouth that I'm working on currently, and it's in parts right now. I got to get all the body work is basically done on it, and it's a very solid car. That's going to be stored back to normal, back to its original life. When I found out about it in March and May 1st, about the class being dropped, I thought, well, I need to do, what can I do? So I went and called everybody on my list that I had. President Cook, I called him. I called Kathy Riggs, David Hawkins. Anyway, everybody on my list down through, and told them that I have concerns about the class being dropped. And I got a return call from on May the 6th from Armida Bernie. Is that right? Gotta get my glasses out so I can read it. Anyway, the Dean of Technology. She was very congenial when she started out. Said, what could I do to help? And I told her my concerns that about the class being dropped. And she says, well, we got $3 million we got to take care of. Anyway, so I told her, I said, well, I need to tell you where I'm coming from. I have supported the college ever since it's been here, basically. And now you want to drop the course. And where I'm coming from is I will no longer support the college if this class is dropped. And so she says, well, I guess we're through. And she hung up the phone about like that. At least that's how it sounded on my end of the line. That might not have been intended that way, but that's the way it was. And then the other part I have to say is that I understand that the administrators are getting a raise. If that's not true, that's good. But if they are, they can be status quo where they're at and help support the college and the classes like this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have David Loney, sorry, and Mark Farley. David, you have the floor.
Okay.
Great name.
Well, I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak. I do not have a prepared statement, but I do know a thing or two about the car culture around here. I'm a former student of the hot rod class back in 2008. Also former chairman of the board of the World of Speed Museum in Wilsonville, Oregon. So very ingrained in the car culture around here and heard a lot of comments. These cars are special. They bring joy to the families of the people that own them. They also bring a lot of joy to the people that see them at car shows. Watching the clock run down and knowing that everybody else talked about their car they worked on. The one that I worked on in 2008 would cover the quarter mile in 7.8 seconds and it went 184.9 miles an hour. Nothing fell off of that car. It was built well. It was built well because of the people around me. One of those people, Fred Davis. And so put the quarter panels on that car, just a couple of buildings over here, and it went really well. But no, I guess I would urge you, I understand about being on a board. I understand about budgeting, and I guess I would urge you to take another look. There's clearly a big impact on the community and the car culture in this area. This class is a network for a lot of people, and the instructors are important. I'm a former student of Pat Nesbitt, class of 83, OCHS, Go Pioneers. Anyway, so that's really all I had to say. I would ask you to take another look at it and see what can be done. Make some adjustments.
Thank you. Next, Mark, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate all your hard work. My name is Mark Farley and I'm a student. I live in Portland. I have been working on my rig for the last 15 years or so. The only time I stopped was for COVID. The classes were always full in the time I have been here. I would like to thank Russ, Fred, Pat, Andrew, and Mark House for all their work. I started with Fred's Davis's and was so impressed that I took a welding class with Mr. Phelps to learn the physics of welding 18 gauge steel. Auto restoration is.
Sorry, really quick. Would it be possible to have the microphone closer just to make sure that everyone can hear? Thank you so much. I'm really sorry to interrupt that.
It's all right. Auto restoration is not a hobby class. It's a 10,000-hour trade. There's a lot of work that goes into one of these rigs. It's not just straight putting on a part. Kind of in closing, I would like to say that canceling the auto classes is not only bad for the community, it's just sad. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. The next two are Trent Luther and Lisa Reynolds. And Trent, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to let you know that I'm a newcomer, relatively speaking, to this program. But I started founding owner of an automotive machine shop in Eastern Oregon that resulted from my training at Treasure Valley Community College. I did take the industrial arts program, and under that, under the auspices of industrial arts, was an aviation program. Once I took the demo flight, I just was amazed I could get college credit and do this. Well, I spent a 57-year career flying airplanes, but I owned and operated Precision Auto Machine in Ontario, Oregon. The business still continues to go. It's to the behest of my late brother, Dale, that business went where it went. I am in the process of trying to come up to speed. I mean, there's just a lot of things that I didn't know. Well, I was an automotive machine shop, drivability, transmissions, rear ends, brakes, all the mechanicals, but never in the beauty of the machine, and I appreciate it to the nth degree. My training was intended to honor my brother and restore his high school hot rod, a 1940 Dodge Business Coupe. It's well on its way. Hasn't spent much time in our Clackamas Community College program, but that's neither here nor there. I'm doing other projects to learn because I am going to paint that car. That's my plan. Unfortunately, it doesn't sound like that's Clackamas Community College's program. I've been here 30 years, as a resident here in Clackamas County, actually for 34 years. And I vote. And I will vote again. Unfortunately, I'll probably vote down for any of the bond measures. It's unfortunate that this whole thing has turned into it's created a rift in the program. Everybody, I mean, the whole atmosphere is different now. So I'm going to just close and say that this is not reality TV. This is reality, what we do. And it's hard work. Most of it is real hard physical work. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa, you have the floor.
Thank you, members of the Budget Committee and directors from the Clackamas Community College Board. My name is Lisa Reynolds, a resident of Portland. Currently, I am simply a community member, having lost my job at Clackamas last year, or I'm sorry, just last year, last month. It's been a very difficult time. It's always difficult when one loses their job due to budget cuts. I guess as the last person to address the Budget Committee this evening, I simply would want to encourage you all to ask yourselves how well you feel you really understand the budget that has been presented to you. How many employees lost their jobs already in response to projected budget cuts? What if employees were cut despite having stellar performance reviews? What if employees were invited to resign because they would probably be losing their position, or no, wait, that would be receiving a notice that their position was not being renewed, that their contract was not being renewed, that they would be eliminated from the college as soon as possible, not at the end of the contract year, not at the end of the budget proposal process. What does it mean to eliminate a position that was never finalized by the Human Resources Department? What does it mean to move an employee that was placed into that position after serving successfully for nearly 5 years in a different position, but reported another employee for misconduct and felt as though they were not treated so well after that? Felt as though the college continued to present a hostile work environment that employees had been found to suffer. What if you wanted to know more about how the college is being funded, about what you're being told, about how it's being represented to you, and how perhaps you might want to ask additional questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Yes, thank you everyone for speaking. Again, we really appreciate it, and I think this is, again, one of the best parts of this country is that you can all speak and be heard, and everyone that's here was either elected or appointed through those elected officials, and I'm very proud to continue this conversation with everyone. Is there anything else, Katie, I should be mentioning for the public comment section?
No, we did receive several public comments via email,
Oh,
and they are in the packet. We have received even some later comments that came in late this afternoon. One from Senator Mark Meek, who also is here tonight and is welcome to register for the board public comment section now that our public comment section for the budget committee is over with. But that we did receive the submittal, and it will all be included in the packet. And you, if you haven't already received it via email, you will shortly as well.
Thank you. And I just want to clarify, because I see some hands being raised. The public comment section was done before the meeting, and we can't be taking any further public comment. Is that correct?
Well, we do have rules in place that you are to register for the public comment, especially in person, prior to the meeting beginning.
Okay.
But it's ultimately up to the chair and the budget committee themselves if they would like to allow for any other public comment. I do want to mention that it is 6:59 and our board meeting is due to start at 7 o'clock. So it's really up to the committee as a whole.
Yeah. Well, meetings go long. That happens. I see a couple hands raised. Are those for public comments?
Okay, wait,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
If you
Okay.
want to
So
talk, you have to
yeah.
come to the mic because
Sorry.
we can't have
Sorry.
comments
No,
outside of the mic.
it has nothing to do with what you were saying. I completely understand. As I understand, someone mentioned that there was a little bit of a delay because of the traffic coming into the on the street.
Parking
So
lot.
we will be happy to take those comments if that is okay with the board. Please,
So,
sure, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So first, before one of you begins, please begin by stating your first and last name and city of residency for the record, and then you can begin your public comment after that.
Hi, my name is Connie Lormore. I live at 17840 South Edgewood Lane in Oregon City, and I've been a resident for 24 years. So, hi, I'm a teacher with the North Clackamas School District. I've been teaching for 28 years and in my current position for 25. I've been a member of the hot rod construction class for 7 years. I've also taken the fix your own car class several times. And as a woman, it is invaluable. As a community member, it is invaluable. It's made my dream come true for restoring my '63 Impala, which was my first car that I bought for $200 that got me to college, that got me my Master's of Arts in teaching. It has now been welded, grinded, straightened, and painted through the college and sits in my garage waiting its final bits to be done and shown. I've taken the skills that I've learned through these classes and taken them into the community. I'm a member of the automotive board for the automotive program for North Clackamas School District as a parent and a teacher. I'm on the advisory committee. I'm also the sole proprietor of the Happy Valley Car Show, which happens every September. Mark your calendars. September, which benefits my classroom as scholarships and supplies for my kids. I would more than this like to introduce my son, Cooper. He's in the back. Coopy, stand up. He's 16 years old, and he's taken the Fix Your Own Car class with me. He's taking right now the hot rod construction class with me. Well, it's more like I'm with him right now. He's also taken the small engine repair class since he was 14 years old, which is the starting age at a community college. He has received these skills because he wants to be a mechanic, which the automotive industry is dying for. They cannot get enough people to fix your cars. They can't. He is the future. And he's already taken several credits through this college. The mentorship and the skills that we both have learned in these classes have made it possible to forward our skills and allowed him to work on projects he cannot work on anywhere else. He is not 18 years old. He cannot get these skills in the private sector. Well, why don't you just get a job at Les Schwab? He can't. Well, why don't you go down and he can't. He's too young. But they expect him to come right out of high school and have these skills. So this has been also invaluable. More importantly, the mentorship and friendship that he has gained from our older generation is irreplaceable. The friends that we've made, the instructors that we have a wealth of knowledge you cannot get anywhere else. Period, the end.
You've reached your time
Oh,
limit.
thank you.
Thank
Please do
you.
not dissolve our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
I could say ditto, but my name is Chris Ratto. I live in the Charbonneau district of Wilsonville. I'd give you a street address if you'd like it. And I've taken the class on Saturday in auto body. I am a career farmer. My education, I have a liberal arts education. So I went into a field that was very different from that, but doing the kind of work that I've done all my life is completely different from what I'm taking on Saturday. And yet I've enjoyed it and enjoyed the learning process. But I had never been to this school. I'd lived in the county for about 10 years. And when I came up here to sign up for the classes, I've taken that class 3 or 4 times. I was impressed with all the things that are going on here. And when I was told last week or a couple weeks ago that this class was going to be canceled, I was confused by why. I think the class is well supported. I think we pay for ourselves. Why would you cut that? I don't understand that. And as a resident of the county, I asked that question of you. I'd like someone to explain that to me. I guess that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. We have the state senator and one more comment as well. You can both come up.
Good evening.
I want to cut you.
Oh, yes,
You've
okay.
been up before last.
All right, okay, go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Crowther. I live on Crystal Court, just about a mile and a half away here. I first became a student at Clackamas Community College back in 2000, and where it led me to pursue my college goals. I graduated from Oregon State in 2012. And honestly, in all of my education, sad to say, there's only 2 professors that I can name. I have a degree. I graduated with honors. Ji-Wan Cho was a professor at Oregon State. She taught leadership. And she taught that leadership is a habit and a practice. And she said you need to stand up when you need to stand up. The other professor is not even a professor. It's Fred Davis, and he showed me how to take something that's a mess and turn it into something that I'm proud of. So I don't want to take up any more time. I look around and see these names. I left voicemails on nearly every one of your messages, and I didn't receive a phone call back. That's disappointing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, members. My name is Mark Meek, resident of Gladstone and also the state senator for this region and community. And I'm brought here today because I've heard from many constituents that are both students of some of the automotive classes that we're talking about. And I just want to let you know, of course, I've had a very long day. My first committee started at 8 o'clock this morning, had 50 witnesses signed up for that committee hearing. And then my last committee was at 5 o'clock. So I rushed here to engage with you, and I look around as leaders. I know all of you, and you too, Dr. Cook, and I appreciate all of your work to help our students here in Clackamas. One of the things I always appreciated about Clackamas Community College was community is your middle name and our middle name. And what I know is that we have students accessing our community college at all age levels, whether they're in high school all the way up to 60 and 70 years old. And so I'm very well aware of having to be fiscally responsible, making sure that the classes and the curriculum that we're providing is meeting its mark, that we are hitting our audience. And I just want to compel you to really reconsider some of the options you have. Obviously, you have a great group of folks here this evening that this directly affects. And I want to just, put this out there to consider. You don't always get a immediate return from some of the curriculum you're offering. But I have to say that some of the curriculum that you offer resonates around our community. And I heard somebody talking about funding and paying for our bond measures so we can improve this facility and the options that our kids have. I love the Industrial Technical Center. I appreciate every investment that this college and this community has invested. So all I ask is really I have anecdotes and letters, and I have friends and colleagues here that this particular class we're talking about, the automotive class, I know we have maybe a different option to consider it as a general community education class. I think if we're able to keep it on the books and allow our families to access this type of tool and learning and types of systems and options, I think it's fantastic. I've met some of these folks. This is a community building adventure for them, including their families. And I do agree that our automotive industry is a dying, breed of a person that wants to engage with this. And this, what I appreciate about what our college is providing is that we have all kinds of options, and we want all of our kids and families to know that we really do care. So please, hopefully reconsider a way to make sure we can keep this class alive and help our families really access it. Clackamas is an amazing community, and let's make sure families feel really welcomed here. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And again, thank you to everyone for speaking. Now we will move on to Budget Committee questions and deliberation section of the agenda. This is the time for any further questions, comments, or discussions on the budget from the Budget Committee members. I would like to open the floor. Please direct questions and comments to Tim Cook. I'll go first. I'll just go ahead and go first because I would just really like to say a lot of the comments today really unlocked memories of my childhood that I completely forgot about. And I was talking with my mom earlier today because my grandpa was an electrician for most of his life, served in the Navy, was a missionary for a bit, but then was an electrician and spent most of his retirement fixing cars. And my mom mentioned that some of that knowledge was from these type of automotive classes. And I really, really understand the value of this. It's really amazing to see how many people are here today. And my first car, a kind of crappy 98 Subaru Legacy was fixed by my grandpa. And I really understand. I really understand where everyone's coming from. And just wanted to add one other thing that I was thinking about this last week that I think some of the community members have mentioned that I personally, and again, this is just my opinion, I tend to agree with. The emphasis on cutting this position, and I want to clarify this to President Cook and the Vice President and Dean, is not solely on the tuition waivers, and nor it should be, because, again, this is my opinion, but those waivers are there to be waivers, and they're entitled to people to take those waivers. My mom taught at a community college growing up, and I remember my whole family took like a rock climbing class, and I would hate that, my rock climbing class would be cut solely because of the fact that we got free tuition because my mom taught there. And so I just wanted to clarify that is that one of the main, like if there were no tuition, this is hypothetical. If there were no tuition waivers here and everyone was paid, do you think the same conversation would be happening?
Thank you, Chair. I think there's a couple ways to answer that question. As you know, we're trying to cut $3 million from the budget. Things are getting tighter. When we offer accredited programs, accredited classes, there are a number of additional factors that go into that impact our costs. What I've heard about this program, and I also want to thank everyone for coming here tonight. I've really appreciated actually all of you sharing how much this has meant to you, and I took careful notes too about that. I've heard over and over again that many of you don't care whether it's credit or not, and aren't even trying to get credit for it, which really changes the calculus and changes how we think about funding for this class. So. It's been brought up a couple times now about community ed. Community ed gives us a lot more flexibility in that those classes are self-support classes. We sit down, we figure out what the real cost of the program is, what the cost of the instructors are. We're not bound by the accreditation standards that we have for our accredited programs. And so we have more opportunity to run classes because they're self-support and they take care of themselves. So I think there is a path forward that we need to explore further that would allow this to continue in a different way. If in a hypothetical, as you suggested, that all the tuition waivers weren't being used and everyone was paying full tuition, there's likelihood that it would cover all the costs there, that it would pay for itself. To be honest with you, I haven't sat down and figured that out, but I mean, that's typically the model that we have for our regular credit classes. This one feels differently in that the credit doesn't seem to be the issue, at least for many people, from what I heard.
Thank you.
Chair, gonna butcher your name
No worries,
then.
no worries.
I wanted to share that what I heard today is that these classes are so much more than about restoring vehicles. They're about restoring humans. They're about connection. They're about coming together and feeling like you belong somewhere and that someone's there for you. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. That was really loud and clear to me. Thank you all.
I want to echo what Board Member Konev just said too. This was very powerful, and I appreciate everyone coming here. I've been on this board for about 18 years, and I have never seen this amount of people from the community feeling so strongly about something. And you're so different, and you're so varied, and you're so articulate, and it is. I just want you to know that we recognize that. We have to make hard decisions, but I hope that, like what Dr. Cook was saying, President Cook was saying, is that there's a way. I hope that there is a way through the community school or through something, but it's a lot of good people working on this. And And may I say, this budget process was a very, very good process. It was a hard process. It's a lot of money to cut, and it had a lot of people involved in it. We have a shared governance program. So there were just many, many people looking at all aspects of the college to help us try to find it. And so I just want to let all of you know that this was not like, oh, let's just get rid of this. You know, it was part of a very smart process. So I guess that's what I want to say, and just hope that we can find a way, because I see, and my husband has a 54 Ford that should have been in this program because it is a pile. It is just a mess, but it maybe wouldn't have been if he had. Well, that's possible too. Yes.
I see hands raised and I really appreciate it, but I don't believe we can take any further comments. Yeah, I'm sorry, we cannot. Thank you very much. Yes.
Just a hypothetical. I think that the administration has received some information that it's not going to be easy tonight to figure out short-term what we can do. What would be a time frame to do some evaluation and get back to another meeting, possibly on Zoom or something like that, of the Budget Committee?
Speaking relative to the automotive classes?
Yes.
Speaking of the relevant, that's a really good question. I don't know that we would be able to do that turnaround quickly. I mean, we'd need to figure out what the costs are and look at those pieces of that. So I wouldn't want to overpromise, during this process. What I might suggest, again, from my recommendation would be that we continue with the elimination of the credit classes with the understanding that it sounds like, there's an interest in pursuing then a different alternative, community ed or something along those lines that actually covers the cost. So I think that's something that we can commit to and look at, but I wouldn't want to overpromise that we could come back with detailed information in a timely manner, because I know just the time frame of the Budget Committee and then the final decision here soon.
President Cook, if I may.
Sure.
From a technical standpoint, you could still approve the budget with an amendment that would provide an amendment that the college look towards and spend like the next couple terms working towards a community ed version of this program. So that way you're providing us policy direction in an alternative, but still moving forward with the process. Just wanted to give you the technical way that could work.
Chair Chisanon, I have
Yes, please.
a comment and also a question to Dr. Cook. First of all, to all of you who spoke tonight and those who didn't, who showed up here, thank you for doing so. I think, your words were heard, and I think certainly Senator Meek's comments about using one word that really, I think, encapsulated all of your positions here, that there are things that this college do that resonates within the community, and that resonance, right, is showing up here tonight, right? There are ripple effects of these decisions, and those decisions, have long-term impacts. And I can tell you that the folks who have to make these decisions are listening to you very clearly as part of this process. I do believe, as Vice President Schaefer has pointed out, there are options, particularly for the particulars like the auto body and other courses that may have options for them in the future. I also have then a point of clarification, I think back again to either Vice President Schaefer or others regarding the process. This body does in fact have the responsibility to move the budget process forward in order for the community college to remain, if you will, active and in business. It also has other statutory requirements and other things it has to do as part of that process. I asked this question last time in our meeting, though, that I believe, and this is my point for clarification, is that approving this budget doesn't necessarily approve all the cuts that are necessarily been recommended, that's still an administrative responsibility, has to be done before the board would adopt the final portion of it. The fact is, though, that $3 million has to come out of the budget as recommended, right, and as directed by the board of directors as part of that process. So I think there's still work to be had on how those cuts are getting made, but I do believe this body has a responsibility to move forward with the budgeting process as presented.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct. Mhm.
And I have
I have a couple of things. I'll just put it that way. One is I have an 82 El Camino that needs a new home. Just mentioning that. Another is I heard a question that I wanted to, and I'm going to list out all my things and then we can come around. But I heard a question about asking from the public about what exactly is in that $158,000 that we're trying to cut. So if you're equipped to give a little bit of a breakdown, that would be great. If you're not, that's understandable, but if you can answer that question. And then I also was gathering from the comments that we may have some process improvements to explore at the college in how people are learning about the possibility that programs will end. It sounds like that was perhaps not handled in a diplomatic way. I will say for your benefit, everyone, that this was the first time that the budget process happened the way it happened. And there wasn't quite enough time to do it as well. And I think that the staff and administration have learned a ton from this first go round. So it's not that what you experienced is the gold standard by any stretch. We're all learning. We all want to do this well, and it sounds like maybe we didn't. And I don't lay blame on anyone in all of this. I'm in the middle of learning how to do processes better every single day in my job. I know how hard it is. And we are in a very stressful budget environment right now, everywhere. We just don't have the certainty that we once did around finances, frankly, thanks to actions that are happening at the federal level. And that lands on everyday people in a really brutal way. And I think some of that is showing up in what you experience. So
If I could respond really quickly, I would agree that there's always things that we can do better and we can always improve processes. I will add, though, this was not done quickly. This was done with, a number of folks over several months of time. Some of the notifications and how people were notified and involved in that piece, I would definitely agree, but I didn't
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
give the
yeah.
impression that this was a
Correct.
quick snap decision.
Thank you.
There was a lot of data, a lot of,
Yeah.
a lot of folks looking at this through the shared governance process. I think what you're referring to, I just want to be clarified, is we have a new shared governance process overall that,
Yes.
was a little bit challenging back in the fall to get going. But
Yeah.
but I didn't want to give the impression that this was done quickly.
No, and
Yeah.
thank you for that clarification. And I was really speaking about the very tail end where news is going out from this process to participants in the class and to the public at large. That was the place where I was going, okay, it sounds like
Thank you.
there's
Yeah.
some room
I think
for improvement there.
there's certainly always room for improvement. And I think Vice President Schaefer, Dean Owen, maybe you can talk about the costs and of this and the automotive part, the high school part as well, because that was all packaged as well.
Yeah, I mean, we could provide the table to Katie maybe to provide for the group, but generally speaking, it's more than just one or two classes. It was the 5 classes combined, and when you start adding all those different components of waivers, and we focus on general fund only, and what would be the savings between waivers and underfilled classes and high school classes that had very low attendance, and we aren't getting reimbursed by the high school, and we're using our faculty. So by the time you added all those costs, those were the 5 classes that added up to that amount. And we would probably have to provide the tables because I don't have them in front of me. But
They're predominantly a breakout between the associate faculty staff. Sorry, they're predominantly Christian Allen Business Services. They're predominantly a breakout of associate faculty and associated medical health and other benefits that they may be eligible for. So that's, there isn't a material services cost or other indirect costs. And yes, we will have the table.
Thank you. I have another couple of comments. I know I talk a lot and I don't know. You guys picked me as chair, so you gotta deal with it. I don't know. But because this is I want to talk about this a lot because this is a really serious thing. I really understand. Again, to say a personal story, my mom, again, taught at Mount Hood Community College. She did an art group forever. And Mountain Community College had to make cuts, and they cut that art group, and it was she hated it, and now she does the art group literally out of her house. She's watching my 7-month-old son this morning, and like had the art group there. But an art group is easy. Art group is small. Art group is, you can just, supplies are this big, you know, these cars are a lot bigger than that. So I want to talk about this because this is a really serious thing. There's a lot of people here, and there's a lot of people who've also said, like, you know, we understand that waivers and those kind of things are part of this, but we want to make it right. We want to keep this going. So I first want to just mention to what Director Heisey and President Cook were saying about just the process of making these decisions. There was a group of, I think you said 16 members of the sub-advisory group. How many people were in the group?
20 members of our budget
Yeah.
advisory subgroup.
So there were 20 members of the budget advisory subgroup, which was a combination of staff and administrative.
It's administrator, staff, and full-time faculty and associate faculty.
And that process started in May, working through, no, sorry, before then.
Yeah, we
Or-
started right after Christmas break, so probably early January.
Okay, January, sorry, started in January through now. And as I recall, the largest cut was administrative, was the 2 administrative positions. I believe that was like 450,000 or so of it. So I just want to say that thank you to the community college for pushing hitting the top first and hitting the top at the biggest area. But that being said, again, this is again just my opinion. I still can't get over the fact that this decision is potentially being made on tuition waivers when they offered the tuition waivers. If I was offered a tuition waiver, I would take a tuition waiver because I'm offered the tuition waiver. And, you know, $158,000 is a lot of money, but I'm looking at, you know, the ending contingency is 5.5 million. 158,000 is 3% of that. We have so many people here, and I'm sure there's more elsewhere who've taken these courses. And again, even though there's not college credit for it, it's super important. I mean, I think this is the same Mrs. Lorimore, but Mrs. Lorimore, I was in your 8th grade orchestra class. Yes, I played the cello. I don't have any music degree. I don't know anything besides. Thank you. Yeah. And me and my friend Mikey were in the class. Mikey ended up being the Oregon Duck mascot. He's the reason. Exactly. I was going to say, from that class, he discovered his love for mascots. And again, I'm bringing this up because this is an example of something that, again, has no long-term money-making prospect for me, but was something that was deeply valuable. And so I think it's tough to cut a program when so many members of the program want to make it work. But again, that is just my opinion.
Okay, I'm sorry. We can't take any more. I don't, we
Yeah,
can't keep
sorry.
going back and forth with the
Yeah.
audience. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Point of order.
Affected this class.
I'm very, very sorry. I really appreciate that. And I definitely understand. But unfortunately, the speaking time was during the community comments section on that.
I want to ask a temperature check question. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like we have some cohesion around the concept of putting a note in or addendum to direct the college to explore ways to support continuing offering this in some fashion that is has a more sustainable budget impact. You said it better than I did just now, Jeff, when you were speaking earlier. But is that generally,
We can do
I'm asking if you want an amendment, Chair.
yeah.
Or if you want a motion.
Quick straw poll. Would the budget committee be open to an amendment for this provision? Raise your hands. We're about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like we have the,
Well, okay, Chris, are you raising your hand? Okay, because 7 is only half of.
oh, I
14.
forget that we're
Uh,
14. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
so if we have Chris as well, then looks like it might be 8 out of 14. So that would,
So-
but we didn't take an official vote on anything here.
No.
Okay, so we
Yeah. I also want to ask a clarifying question of, there were other comments about other things, so I don't want to assume that.
yeah,
that's the
that's, I
only
was just about to
conversation.
say.
But I'm wondering if maybe, I'm sorry, it's been a long day. So I'm just trying to see if we have other pieces to address, and maybe we can kind of do a head nod on the automotive program and talk about other things if they need to be discussed.
Sure, I just want to clarify on top of that, that if we were to do an amendment, like how formal are we, like would we say the amendment would say $158,000 gets allocated from contingency to something, or how would an amendment work?
I'll let either Jeff or Tim talk to this, but I don't think you need a formal amendment for what I believe Director
I was
Heisey
saying
is
it very
speaking
badly.
of. I think what Director Heisey is speaking of is potentially having the college look at this as a community education type
Oh,
program.
got it.
That's
Okay.
something that the college does every day without any board authority or committee member. That's the operations of the college. And I think I won't speak for Dr. Cook. He can speak if that's something he would be willing to work at moving forward or not.
Did you want to make a comment? I think you were waiting.
No, that was my comment.
Okay. Yeah, and I would agree. I mean, I think that would be the amendment, that we would, if direction from this board that you would like us to investigate other alternatives outside of that.
Yeah.
And if I can make a quick comment, I really appreciate the background, Chair. And I just want to remind everybody too, I mean, we still have a $650,000
Correct.
piece that we're trying to,
Correct.
that we need to address early next year. And so I'm cognizant of that as well. We're not even fully there yet. We still have more work to do.
Can I clarify then, if we do this and then it will be investigated further, how will everyone be notified? Is there an additional vote? Is this something that is pushed to the next year one, so that 650 number that is the continuing shortfall that's being investigated becomes I'm an accountant, I should know this, like 800,000?
So the action tonight would be to reduce the budget by $3 million.
Mhm.
Take the reduction by $3 million. What we've put forward is about 2.35. So
Mhm.
depending on, how you all decide to go on this, we need to come back to you no later than the end of this
Like
year, like
yeah.
December 2025, early 2026 with that plan, because we're using the final bit of that one-time funds this next year to cover that.
Okay, but practically speaking, for these courses, are they off? Like, are they going to?
We would have to pause these courses definitely through summer, probably through fall.
No matter what,
Mhm.
regardless of any vote today, yes or no?
Well, and
Yeah.
if you
That's what I'm.
if you tell us to continue, I mean, that's your prerogative. I'm just saying, if we're going to investigate this and do a self-sustaining model, we can't do it by.
Yeah, and I'm not speaking for anyone. I'm only saying, just again, with lived experience, programs get cut, it's hard to come back. I just wanted to understand. So I'm bringing this up because it is us just adding an addendum of future does mean that it's gone this summer and this fall. So I don't know if that changes anyone's kind of opinion on that. Again, I would advise community members to speak during the public comments portion.
Okay. Chair, do you want to take a 5-minute break so that we can refresh, think about this, let the audience cool down, and it's up to you, and then come back, or do you want to continue?
Director Hathorn has been edging toward the mic for a while.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, please.
I just want to, again, a point of clarification, right? The proposed budget has these $3 million cuts embedded in the numbers, correct?
Correct.
Right? So this body's responsibility, and I'll say this again, is to address the budget as proposed, right? It's not necessary to finalize how that $3 million is taken out and which programs. That's an administrative decision with support from the board, okay, as part of that operations. And as President Cook pointed out, there is more work to come as part of this process. This body, though, has the responsibility to, in my opinion, approve this budget as presented. It has that $3 million removed from it. There is no option otherwise for it to move forward. It has been directed so by the board of directors to do so and has other limitations and responsibilities for it to meet accordingly, right? So I'm going to make a motion at this point, right, to approve the
Understood.
Clackamas Community College 2025-26 budget in the aggregate amount of $284,812,184, and to approve the taxes provided for in the approved budget at the rate of 55.82 cents per thousand of assessed value for permanent tax rate, and in the amount of $11,729,927 for debt service on general obligation bonds as presented.
I second the motion.
Yep, sorry. We have a motion and a second to approve the Clackamas Community College budget in the aggregate amount of $284,812,814, and to approve the taxes provided for in the approved budget at the rate of 55 cents 0.5582 per thousand of assessed value for permanent tax rate, and in the amount of $11,729,927 for debt services on general bond obligation bonds. Katie, please roll call.
Well, is there any discussion?
Yeah, there's still an opportunity for this member to discuss. There is a motion and a second on the floor. I believe there is opportunity for further discussion
Okay, sorry.
by rule. Yeah.
I have a question. Just what then happens to what we've just been talking about all night here?
Well, I think I've heard, and I would say clearly, but I would come back that we're looking for alternatives. We're trying to identify a way to continue to offer this program in a way that's self-sustaining. And so I've heard from this body that I'm tasked and my staff's tasked with finding a way to do that.
And I'd like to add maybe to do it quickly. I mean, not to do it, I don't know why it would take 2 quarters. I mean, the length of time that was talked about before. So just as soon as this can get going, I think is important.
Yeah, again,
Sitting around and
I appreciate that. I just don't want to overpromise and
Yeah,
come up back
okay.
with something that's not going to be sustained.
just feel encouraged then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chair, I would like to offer an amendment, and I'm not sure if this is the correct time, but I think that we would probably vote on the amendment and the budget, but I would like to offer an amendment to the budget that the community college work towards finding a community ed model for this program.
I second the motion.
You're just, I don't think we can do that during
Said
discussion.
there's a point of order again on.
Yeah,
there's
sorry.
There was an offer.
Okay, sorry. So, okay. I'm an accountant and a mediocre cello player, okay? This is hard for me. Sorry. Okay, so just to clarify, we will vote on the measure. If there's no further discussion, we'll vote on the value itself, and then afterwards, we will have the opportunity to vote on an amendment.
Your other option is to ask the original person who suggested the motion if they're open to a friendly amendment. And
Are you open to a friendly amendment?
I am not. And let me comment by saying that my opposition to an amendment to the budget has nothing to do with the fact that I support every discussion we've had up to now to find options to save this auto body course and other things that will be helpful to the community. As President Cook has pointed out, there are a number of options, including turning this into a non-credit community ed class, which I think would be a great option for doing that. I don't think that those kinds of things are necessary to amend the approval of this budget as presented.
Okay. Any further comments? I personally think they do, but that's, again, mine. All right, so Katie, roll call?
Okay, so just to clarify for the rest of the board committee members, we are voting on the first measure that was put forward, motion by Wade, seconded by Michael, that is approving the official budget that's in the packet and what Chair Chitzison read earlier, not on the amendment. So is there any questions really quick on that, just to make sure that it's
Yes,
clear?
and so that means that there would not, if this passes, there could not be an amendment to the budget. Is that correct? Or there still could be? I think the answer is no.
I think it would need to die.
Yeah.
It would need to die because this would be the first thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's go with the first vote on the original item. So I'm going to do the roll call now. And please just state if you're aye, no, or abstaining on this vote. Irene Konev.
Aye.
Andre Churn. I got it right the first time. I'm so sorry. Chernishoff.
Aye.
Jane Reed.
Aye.
Jamie Damon.
Nay.
Nancy Bush.
Nay.
Joe Crenshaw.
Aye.
Christine Didway.
Aye.
Wade Hathorn.
Aye.
Wade Byers.
Aye.
Michael Morrow.
Aye.
Kathy Heisey.
Aye.
Chair Chitzison.
Nay.
So the ayes have it and the motion passes.
If there is no further business, the Clackamas Community College Budget Committee meeting is adjourned. There will be a short break before the 7 p.m. regular CC board meeting. Before whenever the next meeting is, you guys got it.
We're going to take a 5